Hello, I'm George McCraney, personal injury, wrongful death attorney with offices in Douglas and Valdosta, Georgia. Today I wanted to give you 7 tips to help you handle your Georgia vehicle case, accident case, without a lawyer. Okay? Now, let me say right off the bat, I always recommend that if you've been in a serious accident or there's been a wrongful death, then you at least consult with an experienced personal injury attorney, because it can make the difference between winning and losing. It can make the difference in not only thousands, but I've even seen millions of dollars. So if you've been involved in a serious accident, you need to consult with an experienced personal injury attorney as quickly as possible. Okay? Now that's my blanket advice. But if you've been involved in a minor accident and you've got minor injuries, then it might be something that you want to handle yourself or try to handle yourself. Now, here's the thing. I would define a minor injury as something that, let's say your vehicle hasn't been totaled. You got a very small amount of medical bills. You haven't been treated for more than a month or something like that by a chiropractor or your doctor for any injuries. And you are certain that your injuries are minor and there won't be any lasting consequences from those injuries, okay? Then if that's true, then this might be a case that you want to handle by yourself, okay, or try to handle by yourself. So let's get on to the tips, all right? So first thing is, if you're going to do this on your own, you're going to try to handle your own minor traffic accident on your own, you're going to have to negotiate with the insurance company's adjuster for the at-fault driver. Okay, and if you're going to do that, I recommend that you get answers to these questions and get answers in writing if possible before you sign any form, before you agree to any settlement, okay, and even before you agree to give a recorded statement. All right, you need to ask these questions. All right, the first thing that you should ask the insurance adjuster is, will you confirm in writing, okay? Will you confirm in writing before I give a recorded statement that you're insured, which is the other driver, the at-fault driver, okay, and your company are liable for the accident and for my damages, okay? If you can get that, that's the first thing you want to ask. Now, if you have a question about an accident case in Georgia or a wrongful death case in Georgia, feel free to give us a call. You can reach us at 833-927-6227, or you can go online to McCraneyLawFirm.com. We've got a lot of information online that will help you and give you information about an accident case in Georgia. And you can even fill out the form, and I'll be glad to send you absolutely free a copy of my book on accident cases in Georgia and wrongful death called After the Crash, okay, and it will give you valuable information. But now, as good as that information is, it doesn't replace what you can get from an attorney and the help that you can get there, so keep that in mind. All right, now the second question that you need to ask the insurance adjuster is, before you give a recorded statement, is, will you provide me with copies of all witness statements, okay, or statements from any party involved with my case, because you need to get those written statements before you give this your recorded statement, okay? The third thing is, will you confirm in writing the total amount of insurance coverage available in this case? All right, that includes all the auto accident insurance, the policy limits from the at-fault driver, okay, as well as any available umbrella insurance coverage. Okay, so that's a question that you need to have answered. All right. Fourth thing is, if I sign a medical release, if I sign this medical release form, will you give me copies of all the medical records that you obtain using that form? All right, that's an excellent thing to ask, and you want to get that information. Okay. Now, the fifth question is, will you provide confirmation in writing if you have done any surveillance or videoed of me since the accident, and if your company will provide a copy of that video? Okay, you want to find out if they videoed you, if they've done anything to surveil you, and you want a copy of that, because let's say you say that you got an injury to your back, and they've got a video, allegedly of you carrying, 2 50-pound bags of fertilizer. Well, it doesn't look like you've hurt your back very well, or very much. So what you want to do is get a copy of that video, okay? Let's see, 6th thing, all right? Ask if they will provide you with a copy of all financial and employment documents and medical records that apply to you or to your case, okay? All financial, all employment, all medical records. All right, that's what you're after. All right, 7, will you, and that's when I'm saying will the insurance adjuster confirm whether or not they're insured, and their insured is the at-fault driver that hit you, okay, was working. Now, in other words, was the at-fault driver working during the course and scope of their employment? All right, that's very important. And if you can get this confirmation in writing, that will really help you, okay? A sworn affidavit is great to have in a situation like that. All right. Now, here's the thing. If they were working, then their employer may be liable as well. All right. So that's important to know. So anytime that you're dealing with an accident, you've got to go through these different questions. Now, these aren't all the things that you need to ask, but these are 7 tips that will really help you if you decide to represent yourself. Now, here's the thing. If they were working, then you want the name of the company, you want the amount of insurance that company has, anything that you can find out about that employer you need to get, okay, because that's very important. Now, the last thing I want to say, and this isn't one of the 7 tips, but the last thing I want to say is don't get to be friends with this adjuster, okay? This insurance adjuster, you need to remember, is not your friend. The insurance adjuster's job is to limit his company's liability. That means limit the amount of money that his company is going to pay out. All right? Don't get to be buddies with them. Don't think they're looking out for you. Don't think that they're going to do everything they can to help you. Let me give you an example. And I met with a really nice fellow. He hardworking guy, great family, sending his kids to school. Really hardworking guy. I would describe him as salt of the earth. He was involved in an accident. He was a passenger in a vehicle when he was struck by a semi-truck. Okay, that vehicle was. Well, he wound up having to have 8 surgeries. All right, it took him all this time to recover. During that time, the insurance company contacted him, and they would say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And he'd say, "Doing fine. Having to have another surgery. This is what's going on." And he would just talk to them. They would call him, just out of the blue and say, "Hey, did you see the football game on Saturday?" I mean, they talked to him about fishing. They really acted like they were his friends. All right. He would say, "I've got all these medical bills piling up." And they say, "When you finish treating, that's when we address the medical bills." He did that, and he had 8 surgeries. It took him 26 months to get finished with all of his surgeries and to recuperate. And he called the insurance company and said, "Hey, I'm finished with my treatment now. We need to talk about paying these bills." And he told me, he said, "They laughed at me. They laughed at this man. And they laughed at him because he hadn't contacted an attorney. He didn't know that he had 24 months to file suit. It was 26 months had passed since the date of that accident. He was in bad shape. There's nothing that he could do. So he was required to pay and left on the hook for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills, simply because he trusted and thought the insurance people were his friends. They are not your friends. They are there to make sure that they limit the amount of money that their insurance companies pay out. Okay? That's what they're there for. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. You can reach us at 833-927-6227. We'll be glad to help you answer questions about a case like this. But now, here's the thing. If you've been seriously injured, or if there's been a wrongful death, something like that, you certainly don't need to handle that case by yourself. You need an experienced attorney to help you, and you at least need to give them a call, okay? And do that as quickly as you can, because time's of the essence in this type of case. And it can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars if you don't go ahead and get something started and understand what your responsibilities are and what's the best actions to take for you. Okay? Now, I'm George McCraney, personal injury and wrongful death attorney with offices in Douglas and Valdosta, Georgia. And these were my 7 tips to help you handle your own accident case here in Georgia without an attorney. All right? Thank y'all.